During 2 to 3 days of Wargame play, which is several rounds of play, company teams develop strategies and strategic initiatives, competitors and suppliers respond, and the market reacts. I'm Dr. Drew Miller, the Director of Advanced Analysis Applications. We design and run business strategy wargames to help you stress test your business development plans and help you develop more realistic and robust plans that will really consider market and competitor reactions. Fortune 100 companies have been using business strategy wargames for decades, paying big-name consulting firms millions of dollars to run them. We can operate wargames at much lower costs, including group wargames that allow a company to participate for just a few $1,000s. Several weeks prior to the strategy wargame, A3 personnel interview clients' leadership to define objectives, set up scenarios such as a new product launch or an acquisition, and select major industry developments that will be simulated in the wargame. We then define operating parameters of the game, such as the time horizon and length of each round of play, and how long the wargame will last, a day or up to 3 days, with many rounds of play. Company teams are selected and participants study competitors and consider strategic initiatives they may employ. During the wargame, competing teams develop and then submit initiatives, such as launching new products, changing policies to deal with regulatory changes and industry developments. The market and environment team reviews these strategic initiatives and gives market reaction to them. Competitor teams also react to other teams' initiatives, often launching a countermeasure initiative to subvert your strategic initiative. The control team is monitoring all these actions, sometimes intervening to change the course of wargame play, and they inject new industry changes that have been pre-planned or some that come up during the wargame as a likely key event. Companies often alter and change their initiatives, sometimes relaunching a new product or re-attempting an acquisition that failed in an earlier round of the wargame, with more market feedback and competitor reactions. The control team evaluates how well each team did at the end of each round of play, and at the conclusion of the wargame, there's a group debrief and wrap-up from client sponsors. Big companies have long used wargames to test product ideas and develop better strategies. But now any size company can afford to participate and reap the advantages of these future marketplace competitive exercises. This wargame was tailored to address international trade disruptions for manufacturers. We can design a wargame that fits your needs and will realistically stress test your business plans. A3 personnel interview company leadership and work with clients to define objectives, set up scenarios such as new product launches or an international trade war or a big regulatory change, and then we help you define operating parameters of the game, such as the time horizons. During 2 to 3 days of wargame play, which covers several rounds, company teams will develop strategies and strategic initiatives, competitors and suppliers will respond, and the market team will react. At the conclusion, there is a group debrief and a wrap-up, and then A3 prepares a report on key findings. The heart of the wargame is competing teams thinking up and launching major initiatives, such as new products and services, policy changes, and acquisitions to grow their business. The initiatives form shown here, which varies by wargame, is filled out and submitted to the market and control teams, and competitors are then given a realistic overview of what their rival is up to in the game. The market team reacts to company team initiatives, judges market reaction, and evaluates how the market, consumers, and other firms in the industry that are not played in the wargame would react to these strategic initiatives. Competing teams also react to these initiatives and often copy them or work to subvert them.
The competing company teams submit initiatives such as changes in products or services, or sourcing or new business development efforts. The marketing team is staffed with industry experts who evaluate the initiatives and look for weaknesses. At the same time, competitor teams submit responses to other teams' initiatives where they may take actions to copy or defeat a competing company's actions.
Each round of play starts with a newscast that brings players up to date on major events in the future scenario. Subject matter experts may present on some of the major issues and trends. Key developments relevant to the scenario are briefly addressed, and then the participants break up into their team rooms. The most cited advantage of wargames is uncovering strategic insights and new ideas for opportunities to pursue and mistakes to avoid that participants had no idea of prior to the wargame. You develop better skills at anticipating customer responses and a new mindset of always thinking strategically, weighing the likely competitive and market responses more realistically. Everyone reports unexpected results from wargames, a problem or opportunity that they had never considered or dismissed in the past, is now seen as critical. You gain far more intense, innovative, and realistic insights than a typical strategic plan brainstorming session. You get much better understanding of competitors, industry trends, and how to deal with them. Many stress that there are both immediate and future benefits. A few immediate must-do-now strategic ideas result, but also some future experience that you can utilize later, such as much more quickly recognizing a threat and opportunity that they first experienced in a wargame. Participants consistently note that their view of the world has changed. They are aware of some unrealistic assumptions they had previously, more attuned to pending changes, and think more strategically now, meaning an idea is evaluated not just based on its immediate advantages to the firm, but how competitors will react.
A key advantage of business wargaming is that it can be scoped as broadly or as narrowly as you wish. You can test a change in your product lineup, your business strategy in a particular market, or a series of strategic moves and counter moves over a decade. You just won't get the intensity and quality of likely competitor reactions from brainstorming in a strategic planning session. You need to stress test your plans in a competitive wargame where competitor teams are focused on shooting holes in your plans and developing their own better plans to succeed. It's surprisingly easy to model those competitor teams because your own people often know what moves they most fear competitors will make. A business strategy wargame enables you to test your responses to those moves and formulate better strategies.
Wargames are extremely valuable to help educate and integrate staff. They're a highly effective method to think strategically and consider competitor reactions. Wargames are used after mergers, acquisitions, and reorganizations to develop new strategies, new thinking, and help people get to know each other. It's highly effective.
Wargames are also used for leadership development. Those involved in the exercise operate under real-world conditions, and executives can observe how they handle the various scenarios and situations that arise. Many report the wargame was better than their MBA program in developing practical, usable analytic skills. I ran a wargame for a group of grain companies that had recently merged to develop both a better strategic plan and to help personnel from the now combined firms get to know each other's thinking and integrate better. Both objectives were achieved. Planning meetings cannot provide the competitive dynamics, intensity, depth of thought and analysis, and even brutal feedback that wargames provide. Fortune 100 companies have used wargames to test new product development ideas, acquisitions, and design best courses of actions to deal with pending issues. Scenarios, intensive competitive play, and experts on the market team reacting to your proposals that your company team launches in the game, all this serves to red team stress your ideas. Wargaming is the ideal way to anticipate how competitors in the market will react to contemplated initiatives, discovering vulnerabilities you can fix before you launch. Wargaming also permits your personnel to try anything they could in real life over years of future market and competitive conditions and experience and react to possible results. Strategic wargaming provides future experience to help guide current decisions and improve both your strategic plans and your management skills.